Canelo Alvarez versus Charlo. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at about 40 or so clips to get a kind of a flow of the fight and what to expect. We're going to be taking a look at Charlo's most common sources of offense, Canelo Alvarez's most common sources of offense, and how those things are going to kind of come together to get a flow of the fight and what to expect when these two come together. So, one of the first things to look at, 30 seconds into the fight, Charlo versus Castaño 2. He's going to be coming to the line and stepping jab. Now, Charlo throws a lot of stepping jabs. And one thing that we know about the stepping jabs, ask Amir Khan, they're very dangerous, okay? But Charlo's trying to figure out from this position, once he gets here, how easy it's going to be for him to snap into a right hand, okay? So he's looking to go from here to a 2 as quickly as possible. So as he continues moving forward, gives his opponent another feint, checks his guard. What do you think at that after that beat, after that next moment here? Going to give him another one. Boom. And now he's going to snap into his right hand. It doesn't really matter. He already made up his mind. And he's going to check the line against Castaño. And this is a very, very common source of offense for Charlo, is that he'll be stepping on the line with the jab to set up the right hand, hoping to kind of lull you to sleep as we take a look at the next clip here. Oops, not this one here. Not this one here. This one. Hoping they'll kind of lull you to sleep, throwing the jab here, and then just leaving the line. Nothing comes after it. Hey, what do you think about that? Hey, what do you think about that? Now, a few things, okay? Number one, his head kind of gets stuck in this position here, and this is going to be very important when we get to the Canelo clips, and we talk about some of Canelo's strategies, right? And how using a stepping jab or a very obvious jab is going to have a negative impact on the fight. Now, as we continue moving forward, Charlo's going to continue going through the line, 1, 2. Now, this right hand lands very cleanly on the chin, boom, boom. But again, the same jab that he was throwing, the previously ones, right? He just steps, and now he's going to throw a 2 really quick right after, but using the stepping jab to get on the line, right? That's his masked, how he disguises himself. Hey, what do you think about this jab? Hey, what do you think about this jab? Hey, what do you think about this? Just kidding, there's a 2 after it, right? Very common source of offense for him. A very, common pattern for him, okay? But a lot of that from fighting, again, from the left hand, fighting with the stepping jab. Now, this move in particular is very, very, very important. Here we have Castaño coming with the jab to the body, Charlo moving off the line, and watch as he moves his weight toward the front foot here. He was just on the back foot, moving toward the front foot, and as he gets there, a right hand comes, cracks him right on the chin. This is important for 2 reasons. Number one, this is Canelo Alvarez's favorite punch. He loves to throw the overhand right. Even though I don't think he throws it over the jab as often as I think he should, he loves to throw this shot at this angle. He loves to throw it at bladed fighters. He loves to fight fighters who stand with their feet in a line, will always keep their left shoulder forward, and he lands the right hand over the top, not nearly as much as he should. We're going to talk about that when we get to the clips of him fighting Golovkin. But more importantly, Canelo hasn't exactly been knocking people out with that shot. People see it coming, people can react to it, and Charlo has a really excellent counter left hook off of his opponent's front foot position of the right hand, off of the right hand attack in the front foot position. And again, I think Charlo has a very, very, very good counter from that position, or for that attack. And we're going to take a look. There's many, many, many more clips. Now, one, right, as we see Charlo, a few things, right? Castaño jumps on the line with the jab, and as Charlo is rocking forward, back, he's getting pinned to the back foot, he's going to jump into this jab here, right? Castaño's easily making it to the front foot, but because of the fact that Charlo, again, like I was saying a second ago, leading with the left hand, and he always keeps the left shoulder forward, he enters the line from the back foot there with the stepping jab, right? Very interesting because, again, that's how he beat Amir Khan. So, pushing him to the back foot, right, or attacking him while he's on the back foot, he explodes into the line, but Castaño's already made it past that position. And this is a very common source of offense for Canelo Alvarez. Okay, the one and then blasting into the two to the body. Um, and Sometimes Charlo will continue to attack, and this is like another one of those like more interesting things about Charlo. And now again, right after that sequence, right, boom, tries to follow it up, jumps on the line with the leaping left hook, and look at Charlo again attacking the line with a kind of stepping punch here with the left hand, trying to get his weight from the back foot onto the front foot. Boom. Um, but the way that he does this, I think, is going to be very dangerous. Again, that overhand right, which is Canelo Alvarez's like favorite punch. Boom, boom. Now again, rocking back and forth, feinting here. He's back, stepping forward, and now Castano coming forward, intercepting that, trying to slip to the inside. Now again, Charlo on the front foot here, very susceptible to this hook. Okay, and again, this is Charlo's main source of getting on the offense or getting on the line, right? It's the first piece of his offense, again, because he always keeps his left shoulder forward. He doesn't ever bring his rear shoulder forward. He doesn't ever cross the line or make it to a real position one, even though his weight's always on the front foot. He's always kind of fighting, from the same position, but I don't want to say positionless, right? But it is positionless because his feet are in a line. Anyway, this is a punch that Canelo really, really, really likes to throw as well, and it's one that he's also pretty good at. Okay, now if we continue watching the sequence, it's very important to note that even though he gets hit here, and this is one of the reasons why this fight may be a lot of fun, Charlo kind of goes apeshit, right? Throws a bunch of punches. His follow up is going to be very important, okay? Because Canelo Alvarez, he does have a couple of really big one-punch knockouts. But these bigger guys, right, at these bigger weights, now Jamel being a 154-pound guy, but having a guy, we've seen Jamel at 160 before, right? His brother. So it's not like we don't know that he can get there, right? And he's got a big frame, way bigger than Canelo's. So he should have a lot of weight. He should, be a big enough guy, like Bivol was, to absorb some of that Canelo Alvarez power, right? John Ryder was big enough to take that power as well. And that means that as long as Charlo follows up, Canelo is kind of a one punch at a time kind of fighter. We're going to talk about that as we get deep into the film study. But here, Castano taking a step onto the line, one with the lead hand, two lands that shot on the chin. Again, this is very important because again Charlo has a good follow up, right? Notice following up with two punches, not just even the single left hook like he threw before. Boom, right, landing here, but again, Canelo Alvarez is a one punch at a time kind of fighter, very similar to Castano, right? I don't think he has the output of Castano, but more power than Castano. Okay, but Charlo, if he can follow up, not only can he take away the, how do you say it, the glamour of some of the shots that Canelo lands, but he can even wind up being ahead on the scoring of those sequences if he follows up and puts pressure on Canelo Alvarez post punch, because Canelo Alvarez uses so much energy to throw his power punches. A lot of times he'll just stand there after his sequences. Now again, Jamel making that very simple fundamental error of always guarding the line with the left arm and kind of walking into this right hand here. Again, getting pushed off the line, and he's on the back foot. He has nowhere to go but forward, and Castano is able to walk him into this shot. And this is very, very early into the fight. This is very, very, very Amir Khan level of skill, right? Amir Khan was really fast. It took some time to set that shot up. But here's Castano doing it in the second round, and it's not even the first time he's done it. So very, very dangerous. Again, the bladed stuff from Charlo. Again, coming forward with the jab, and now look at Charlo following up and making attacks on that position. Okay. Another thing about Canelo Alvarez, he's not that great at his stepping jabs. Right? Canelo Alvarez is a striker. He's not really a boxer. He likes to throw big, big, powerful punches, but long, drawn out sequences, lots of momentum, lots of engagement, lots of. If you just standing on the line with Canelo, um, I'll say if the sequence gets too long, he'll look to tie up, um, or he'll hit you to the body until you kind of run away from him. But he doesn't like continuous flows of punches. Like as we see Charlo, boom, 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 right? And sometimes he'll even follow up there, right? There's none of that from Canelo. His sequences are always definitively starting and ending. Now, coming forward with the jab, boom, 2, 1, 2. One thing about Charlo and his brother, these guys always throw punches to hurt you. There's never any like soft punches. They're always, even though his technique is not perfect, even though this, even though that, but the fact that he's looking to attack and counter, right, single punches, right, follow them up, may give him an advantage early on in the scoring. Okay, Kovalev did really well with the scoring early on against Canelo Alvarez, even though he wasn't very active, even though there was opportunity. Countering him when he would get to the front foot as well, trying to take advantage of it. Charlo, pretty dynamic, pretty explosive, right? If he can harness that, he can maybe, I don't want to say pick his spots, because you don't just get to pick your spots. You have to, every single goddamn time Canelo throws a punch at you, you got to make him kind of pay for it. You got to counter, and then you got to get off the line. You don't just get to pick your spots, but kind of pick your spots. There's some things that you're going to pick your spots in. Don't be so reckless, right? But here comes a jab, stepping jab. Here's Charlo again countering it, 1, following it up with a 2, and then getting off the line. Another very common move, boom, another right hand, counter, right? Again, Charlo showing that he can kind of move and circle, and I think the circling is going to be his biggest and most important attribute. The fact that Golovkin stayed off the ropes and didn't allow Canelo to just blast him and just throw big, 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 huge shots played a significant role in his ability, I want to say in Golovkin's ability to even just make it out of the fight. Because in this third fight, Golovkin almost didn't even try to win. There were so many oh, well, if I'm favorite, I get the round. So let's see if I'm favorite, rather than trying to win. Go win. Go kick this man's ass. Anyway. But Charlo's going to need to circle. He's going to need to keep Canelo moving and blasting into those sequences. He's going to need to keep him exploding into left-hand attacks, counter, counter, and then walking him into punches, right-hand attack, counter, left hook. Again, he's incredible with this shot here. Really, really, really good. And I can only imagine how much better he's going to be for this fight. Actually, that's a lie. He hasn't fought in 9 years? Jesus. No, just kidding. Now, Charlo eating a shot here, right? Very common for them to fight over the jab, probably. Here's a follow-up from Charlo. Here's another follow-up because he missed, right? Again, a lot of follow-ups, a lot of explosiveness, a lot of punches from Charlo, right? And this is one of the ways that even though this sequence started off really poorly for him, he can kind of come back and still get enough points, right? Because again, Canelo Alvarez, number one, he's a little dude, right? Is he really going to be hurting Charlo? Yeah, he's probably going to hurt Charlo sometimes. Charlo doesn't move his head well, right? He's going to hurt him probably. Charlo, stay strong. You'll recover. You're a strong guy. Don't worry about hurting. You're not going to get brain damage from one fight with Canelo Alvarez. He's not going to hit you a million times like Julio Cesar Chavez hit Meldrick Taylor. Don't worry about it. Okay? Stay strong. You'll recover. Follow up. if you can, right? If you don't get sparked because you don't move your head all that much. Now, again, always attacking. Again, look at his structure here. Look at his posture. Look at how when he throws this shot, he's throwing and his head is tilting toward his shoulder, his left shoulder, but it's tilting his temple to the outside of his shoulder. It's not actually making him any safer by tucking his chin here because the whole left side of his face is still exposed just because his chin is not. Right? It's not working that way. Now, Canelo Alvarez slipped the jab, body shot. Okay? Again, Charlo leaves his head out there, right? He jumps with this jab. It's easy to time. Canelo Alvarez very seldomly throws the right hand over the top. Usually, he likes to go to the body and then go over the top, like with the James Kirkland or Amir Khan, right? He's not usually just blanket countering the jab, throw the right hand right over the top, right? He's not usually doing that. All right, enough of that clip. All right. Circling. Little jab there, circle. And again, another right hand, front foot. Look at this big gap right here. Stepping jab. Again, his whole temple is exposed. He's not really moving his head at all. Back foot. Moving toward the front foot. Getting timed right here. Canelo Alvarez, not always the best at this shot, but he attempts it. Castano attempted it, had some pretty good success. The likelihood that Charlo freaks out from this position and throws his left hand is very high. That only exacerbates the problem that he's having with his left shoulder anyway. Because none of the times that he guards the line with his left shoulder does he do it with a block. He always does it with a punch. Now again, same kind of angle. I know, sorry about that. Jab to the body, very common source of offense for Canelo Alvarez as well. Goes over the top with that same shot that he's been hitting him with. Counter, boom, excellent shot. Beautiful shot. Now, excellent follow-up again from Charlo. Again, this is going to be more stuff that he needs to do, even though he did a good job here. Everything was good, right? Canelo Alvarez has a habit of standing on the line, like a scrub sometimes, after a sequence, right? And these are places, right, that Charlo has already demonstrated that he can find offense. Now, beautiful, beautiful sequence, okay? Charlo is circling, right? Trying to stay off the line from the smaller, more outmatched fighter, Castano, because Charlo's, he doesn't line his tools up correctly, right? His feet are not correct, so he doesn't have power in all his punches. He can't follow all the rules. If you guys want to learn how to do all that stuff, check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. It's going to teach you all the stuff that Charlo does correct, which is some stuff, definitely some stuff, but all the things that he's not doing correctly either, so you can understand what's going on with your structure. Teach you what real punching power is, okay? How to create a structure with your feet correctly so that you can drive your weight through your kinetic chain into your opponent. Now, they also say that punchers are born. This and that. You can't teach punching power, blah, blah, blah. I have 100% cracked the code on punching power, okay? Teach anyone on the planet, male or female. If you're a woman and you want to bridge the gap between athleticism and power and speed and a man in a similar weight division as you, check it out, okay? It will teach you how to punch hard. You'll still have to work hard. You won't build muscle as fast as a man still, but if you fight a 120-pound man, you can knock them out, okay? You can bridge the gap between men and women pound for pound, okay? And men, if you want to learn how to hit as hard as you can, if you want to learn and understand exactly what needs to take place for you to drive your weight from the ground into your opponent, check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. It also has an entire way to teach you how to do that and successfully fight somebody, how to get on the line, how to attack them, and how to get off. An entire combat system, okay? Anyway, Charlo, circling, moving over this way. His head's on the right side of the line. Now Castano's following. He's coming with that right hand. Charlo moves his head to the side. Boom! Got him with an excellent shot. Because he's moving, Castaño's having a hard time lining his tools up. So why is this punch in Narnia? He would never throw a punch to this spot, right? Well, obviously his tools are not lining up with the head movement. A little bit of head movement from Charlo. Gets to this side. Now there's no punches coming. Castaño has to get replanted. Miss. Miss. And then Charlo's off the line. Boom. Into another shot. There's so few times that Canelo will get into a flow where he's moving around and throwing punches and getting off the line and getting back on the line and fighting and moving and ducking and weaving. And usually Canelo is just throwing one punch, one control, one attack, and see what happens. Not really following it up, not flowing through the fight. And it's something that can be very exploited, as we see Castaño here, right? Throwing some random punch, getting countered. Throwing some random punch, getting countered. Chasing him around, getting exploded on, right? And again, Charlo can be very unpredictable, and some of the stuff that he's doing, like in this sequence, right? Jumping around, pendulum, gets to the line, boom, uses the momentum and carries it into the shot. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Exploding with his 2-foot punching, right? Charlo's, again, these guys are like lifelong athletes. The Charlo guys, the things that they're doing correctly, right? Charlo is here staying in momentum, right? Trying to use that momentum to disguise his punches, right? Ooh, pretty good, right? He just doesn't have an exact system to help him learn how to capitalize on this. Check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. I teach better than this. Okay, but very explosive. Right? There's a lot of potential, right? A lot of fighters, anytime you get to the top level, right? Anytime you get to the top level, there's something that fighters does that's exceptional, right? There's something, and there's so many, like there's, a varying degree of different things, right? Oh, he's got fast feet, right? And a fast jab. Think Caleb Plant, right? He's got pretty fast feet, pretty fast stepping jab. That's his super skill, right? His hands, they're okay, but it's mostly his feet. His hands are okay, right? Carried him to a world title, right? Anyway, I'm not going to go through the list of all that stuff, but one random skill. It's not that random. You train hard at it. He's got some sick jumping rope. Now, take a look at some Canelo Alvarez here. First off, 20 seconds into the fight, Canelo's getting to the line here. Here he is, waiting for a jab, pulling back. Getting to the line and pulling, getting away from a jab. Trying to find a way to cross the line and interact with Gennady Golovkin's jab. As I want to say that Gennady Golovkin has one of the best jabs in boxing ever. His jab was so sick. And if you just allowed him to get on the line with you, he could explode like Charlo. But he was so good at it with his jab that he could get a lot of power with it too. He was so good with this jab. And Canelo here, looking to take it away. Looking to stop Golovkin from getting any value out of that jab. And getting planted into punches. But not only that, okay? Another important part is Canelo is also going to be very good at fighting off of his opponent's jab. Catch. Counter. Okay, now take a look at this position here. All right, look at the bladed-ish stance. Golovkin's not a bladed stance guy, but he's a left shoulder kind of guy. He doesn't usually get to the front foot and pull counter from the front foot. He fights from a very traditional, this kind of style, but he does cross the line. He does move his head. He does punch hard. He does do 2-foot punching. Golovkin does so many things correctly, right? He's a very, very good puncher, very, very good fighter. But this being one of those little holes here, and this is going to be one of those things that Canelo is going to kind of take advantage of a little bit against Golovkin, okay? Because if you can't block punches from here, you can't really re-enter the line unless you can guard the line from that position as well. So, beautiful little sequence here. Here, Canelo's going to make it to the front foot and watch him try to parry that shot. See his glove flinch here? Pop. Expecting a jab from Golovkin, and now he's going to slip to the front foot because he's expecting maybe a possible feint, or maybe he saw Canelo feint, try to catch, And now he's like, oh shit, I gotta go. Because again, you get your opponent to react and then you make an attack, and now Canelo is on edge, so he slips to the front foot, controls the line with the left hand, forces Triple G to control the line with the left hand because, like I just talked about, he doesn't block punches with the left hand. Maybe sometimes he does, but on average, Golovkin is a front foot fighter. He comes forward, he keeps his head toward the front foot, the left leg, and he throws that hard jab. Very, very, very similar head position to Charlo. And here Canelo was demonstrating his ability to weave through the line, force an attack from his opponent, get into position, and still throw a rear hand punch. Okay, so he forced Golovkin to try to control some space with that jab by weaving through the line. Then avoided the attack and set up another powerful attack of his own. Beautiful boxing. It just doesn't get any fucking better than that. Okay, now, if we take a look at Canelo's structure when he finishes, how long does it take him to reset there? Okay, here he is. You finish the punch, right? This is the position, right? Because we can see that 1 minute in, right, Jermell Charlo's jab, maybe he's not going to be all that great. We know, I'm going to flat out say it, Golovkin has a better jab than Jermell Charlo. 100%. 100%. It's more sneaky. It doesn't have to be a stepping jab all the time. And even when it's a stepping jab, Golovkin can still guard the line better than Jermell Charlo, which means he's going to be more coiled and able to deliver more damage with his jab than Jermell. And Canelo beat it. He beat it easily. He beat it easily in this fight. I don't want to say he dominated Golovkin, loved Golovkin, but he made this fight look easy. He did a great job. But this is going to be one of those positions here, right? Where Canelo's going to make it to this position a lot. A lot. He's going to throw that right hand to the body. He's going to throw that right hand to the head. He's going to throw that shot. And he's going to need to defend this position. And the more athletic, the more dynamic that Charlo is, the more that Canelo is going to have to recover from that shot. The more that Canelo has to guess. The more that Charlo can circle and move and drag Canelo to him, the more opportunity he'll have to intercept those kinds of one-punch attacks on the line, right? Because Canelo's not going to do anything with the remaining momentum of that punch, right? Except for, here comes the punch, fall a little bit off balance, right? That's it. That's all he's going to do there. All right. Now, jab comes out, and look at Golovkin catching the counter jab from Canelo, and then Canelo getting under the next jab, boom, body shot, boom, 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 boom. I don't know how Jermell Charlo is looking to guard the line against Canelo when Canelo can do this against Gennady Golovkin. Like, look at Golovkin. He's here. He's planted, right? He's just chilling. Canelo couldn't stop Golovkin from barreling through to the front foot, getting in his position, right? And Canelo's just easy like, nah, bro, you ain't hitting shit. Sees his jab coming from a mile away, puts pressure on him, forces a counter, draws him out, attacks the line exactly like Jermell Charlo does, always attacking with the left hand. Where's the block? Where's the defense? What's going to allow Golovkin to continue seeing the line? He makes an attack, drags his way to the line, and eats a shot to the body. Beautiful boxing from Canelo again, weaving through the line just brilliantly against Golovkin. And Golovkin has one of the most educated jabs, one of the best jabs I've ever seen. Absolutely incredible jab. Again, countering the jab and getting under right after. Very important, okay? Because sometimes Canelo doesn't, right? But he's playing these games very, 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 very well sometimes against Triple G. It's going to be very important for boom, jump, crouch. It's going to be very important for Jermell not to give up and to allow Canelo to tire himself out, because Canelo is very explosive, right? Moving through the line, little Mike Tyson here, right? Exploding into this hook, boom. Now, real quick, weaving through the line, catching the jab here, back foot, making it back to the front foot, leaping hook. Very, very, very important punch because, well, number one, Charlo likes to guard the line with the jab. If he steps with the jab, leaves his head on the front foot, doesn't have a way to get his head back to the back foot because of the way that he keeps his shoulders, and his feet are always in the same line, and this and this and that. And Canelo's going to be able to cross the line and throw this leaping hook. Okay, Jermell Charlo, I don't know if he likes to catch the jab. I don't know. But sometimes he's going to pull straight back and move into this hook, right? But it's very important to understand that this is one of the ways that Canelo opens up an attack on the line. Now, if this is the first move that you make on the line and you don't follow it up, this is your best attack. We've seen that Jermell Charlo will counter attacks like these, right? So he throws this shot, boom. How long until he's reset? How much space is there after that shot gets there? Boom. Until Canelo's back in position. Is there space there for Jermell Charlo to capitalize on this pretty dangerous technique, right? We're going to have to see. Because Canelo can be pretty fast. He can snap into other shots pretty quickly. He doesn't always do it, but he can. But that is one of those moves. Now, Canelo starting the line, an attack with the left hook here. Moving off the line. One punch. 1, 2. Is there space here for a counter from Jermell Charlo with those fast left hooks? Kinda, right? If we take a look back at that one, he's going to throw the right hand, boom. And he's going to crouch just a little bit, bring his hand up just a little bit, kind of defending the line just a little bit. I think Charlo still gets him right here, but he's going to pull some of the steam off of that punch for sure. He's going to see that shot coming. It's probably not going to hurt him. Maybe the next shot might catch him. Who knows, right? Canelo's aware that he's in danger in this position. It's important that we understand that he's aware, so we understand that Charlo can understand. Right? So even though that punch is going to be really important because we need to pin Canelo down after he throws his punch. Can't let him out of this position. Right? He's going to come up with a big leaping shot after this position. Look at him all coiled down there. You got to pin him down so you can leave if you want to run. I'm trying to say that Charlo's going to run, but you can't just let him run. Right? You can't just let him chase you around. But most important part of that sequence, Canelo jumps to the line, throws a 1-2. No follow-up. He's not using his momentum to continue going forward. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. Also want to say that Triple G's not engaging him. He's running, right? He's circling. He's allowing Canelo to come at him, engage with him. 1 punch. 1 punch, pull. Okay? A lot of one punch at a time stuff from Canelo. Okay? And it makes me believe that Jermell, being that kind of bladed stance fighter who's going to look to pull kind of back and jump forward with his entry of the 1-2, right? Like a poor man's Dmitry Bivol, and then follow up those sequences, he may actually wind up having a decent amount of success against Canelo because of, I don't want to say because of that Dmitry Bivol blueprint, but because of the Dmitry Bivol blueprint. Follow him up, right? Just throw a bunch of combinations. And then, also, you have to remember the next part of the strategy is don't get knocked out. But you can throw a lot of punches at him. Don't let him hit you with any combinations because you'll probably go down. Don't let him hit you with the best punch he can throw because you'll probably go down. But there's space after Canelo throws punches to hit him. And it looks like Jermell Charlo is much more likely to wait for those things rather than initiate his own offense because, as we saw, Canelo's pretty sick at weaving through the line and getting away from the jab to land his 2. So if Jermell Charlo is being priced into controlling space with his jab, and not just other combinations, I think other combinations are going to be more important, he's going to have a lot of trouble against Canelo. I think Canelo will be able to beat his jab. However, maybe he needs to. Again, space to counter him. Right, very common position for Canelo to get in 1 punch at a time. Right. Now, following him up. Right. Canelo jumps on the line 1 punch at a time. Random jab comes out, just like we saw with Castano. Follow it up. 1, 2. Throw the shot to the body. This was Golovkin's biggest problem in the fight. Notice he's going to intercept Canelo's jab by controlling the line with his left shoulder after just eating a punch to the face, right? And then he's going to re-enter the line exactly like Charlo, 1-1-2, boom, boom, boom. And now seemingly wins this sequence, even though it started off very poorly for him. But this is an opportunity for Charlo to, very similarly, like in the amateurs, right? Just follow your opponent back, right? Follow him back. Canelo's not always, again, the greatest boxer, right? So if he has to exert himself to jump on the line to land a punch, exert himself to control the line so he can throw the rear hand, so he can land a punch, or maybe not land a punch, or try to score. But he's short, he's small. Charlo has already fought a guy like this. Castano, same size. Arguably, he's bigger. Not bigger mass-wise, but bigger height. Canelo's 5'6", right? 5'6"? Is he listed 5'8"? But he's 5'6". Mayweather's listed 5'8", wears heels, right? So that means he's 5'7". Mayweather's bigger than Canelo, right? I don't know, actually. Anyway, I don't remember which one's bigger, but follow those shots up, right? Don't allow Canelo. If Canelo doesn't hurt you with that shot, get on the line and bust his ass. Now, if Canelo had thrown a right hand at Golovkin, Golovkin would not be able to follow it up here because he can't block the right hand with his face and then follow it up with a 1-1-2 like he can block the jab, right? And again, Golovkin doesn't really block punches either. He doesn't really fight as a defensive fighter. He's a come-forward fighter. Blasting onto the line with a 1-2, bop, hook, 3-2, 2 to the body. Easy shot. 1-1-2. He kind of blocked that shot, but not really, but kind of, but nah. But again, Canelo's most common sources of offense. Both of these very susceptible to Charlo's best source of offense, which is probably that counter hook, that slicing, like whack, He does something pretty cool with this hook. If he knew what to do with his feet a little better, how to position his feet, and the rule that he's breaking, right, the Fouts boxing rule for striking, is 1 foot on each side of your target. If you fight in a bladed manner, you can't move your head from one side of your target to the other. You can't do it. You can't cross the line because your feet are on that line, right? So anyway, Charlo can't really do that stuff, and it inhibits him from throwing his best punches, right? Landing his best punches, landing his best counter, because he's actually pretty sick with that. But again, it should be a very, very, very important piece of offense for him, as long as he can make sure that he can block the right hand or actually get off the line of the right hand. Because if his whole plan is going to be eat the right hand, counter with the left hook, it's probably not going to wind up working out very well for him. Now, Golovkin sees all these shots coming a mile away. He's not really a blocking punching fighter, right? He doesn't block punches. He's an aggressive fighter, yada, yada, yada. He sees this coming, 1, 2. Charlo can smack him. Charlo can make it back to the line. Charlo's bigger than Golovkin. Maybe this sequence is much easier for Charlo to make happen, and then being able to re-enter the line with the hook. Now again, they both land a punch. Canelo usually happy to land one punch and then leave the line. Golovkin follows it up, steals a punch to the body, stays ahead on the sequence count, right? Oops, was that the whole thing? Yeah, that was the whole thing on that one. Let's go. Follow it up. No big deal, right? Now, gets on the line, pendulum, boom, boom, lands a shot. Canelo's not always countering. Canelo's not always doing this or doing that. Sometimes he's just plodding forward. Sometimes he gets low on energy. Sometimes he's this. Sometimes he's that. And then sometimes he's right back on the line, parrying the jab and throwing the hook. And again, this kind of strategy from Canelo, I think, is going to be very effective. Again, I also think that when Canelo steps on the line and throws the lead left hook, he's going to have a lot of success as well. Hitting Charlo, this punch here, okay? Getting on the line with the jab here. Now here, getting on the line with the hook here. Beautiful, beautiful work. Now real quick, follow it up, right? This is what Charlo needs to do. Canelo trying to stay on his game here, but getting on the line with the hook here. Very, very, very high value move, I think, for Canelo against Charlo. But he's going to have to be able to defend this position. It's going to be really, really, really important that He doesn't just get hit because Canelo's short. He's not always going to land this punch, right? It may wind up being kind of easy. No, it won't be easy. But Canelo might get pretty good at interacting with Charlo's jab because Charlo's jab is so much more limited than Golovkin's. The positions that his head winds up being in, the severity at which he steps with all his jabs, right? The positioning of his head when he's done throwing it, it's all worse than Golovkin. 1-1-2 right over the top. Now, this is really important. He lands this like all fight against Golovkin. He doesn't hurt him. No, I don't know if he hurts him. I think maybe he does because Golovkin does say, you guys, his punch is good, punch, whatever he says. Random hook, real quick. All of Canelo's offense right here. 1-1-2, right? It's 1-2, but he goes 1, and then pendulum here, boom, 2. There's a beat there where he doesn't control the line with the jab, but it's there. Boom. Basic sorts of offense. Then Canelo moves forward, walking forward. Little pendulum walk here, and he's going to blast into the hook again. And these are Canelo's most common sources of offense, right? Countering the jab, and then throwing the 1-2, 1-1-2, or stepping on the line with the hook. Now, pay attention, very close attention. After he throws the hook, boom. Look at him force the pendulum forward, and he doesn't do anything with that momentum. He's not following it up. One punch at a time, and those are the places that Charlo needs to go ape shit and really try to make Canelo pay for attacking his line. Now, what does Charlo even do with that, right? Beautiful shot. Beautiful, beautiful shot from him, getting under the hook here, and that's a punch that Charlo likes to throw a lot as well. And Canelo landing a very, very, very sick body shot here. I think this punch could be very, very important for Canelo, especially because of the fact that Charlo is so karate style. He's so sideways. He'll eat a shot like this to the body, and he'll probably take a lot of damage from it. But this shot will also start opening up shots to the head, and Canelo likes the body to the head, right? Left hook to the body, left hook to the head. Sometimes, I think sometimes, but again, one punch. Boom, right? Throws one punch counter here, sits on the line. Maybe Charlo can follow that up. Obviously, your game plan, you don't want it to revolve on eating a punch and then following your opponent up. Very, very sick sequence from Canelo. Working off of his jab. They trade jabs. Jab. Body. Very common. Very close to Golovkin, and again, Golovkin has such a sick jab. He's so short with his lead hand. And Canelo can stay so close to him, right? And again, I really don't think that Charlo's going to have a better jab, a more dynamic, explosive, or sneaky jab than Canelo. Now again, 1-1-2 in there, all the way into a random left hook from Canelo. And as he gets on the line here, very interesting. One, throws the left hand, and then throws the left hand here. Some things I want to point out, in all of these sequences, Canelo is not entering the line with his rear hand first, even once, right? How many times does Canelo open up on the line with the right hand? Very, very, very few times. And this means that he's going to be kind of predictable entering the line from the left side or from the right side as well. But I do think he's better at all that stuff than Charlo. So it's not going to matter as much or as often as it matters that Charlo has that problem. But even here, right, Canelo choosing to set up his left hook here, right, weaving through the line here. Golovkin not able to push him off the line, setting up his left hand here with the left hand, right? And then jab, pendulum, left hand again, right? Now again, this clip is particularly interesting to me because Canelo jumps on the line. He already did that one hook, right? jumped on the line with the one, threw the hook, and now he's going to do it again. Jump on the line with the one, throw the hook, and look at what position Golovkin's in. Again, Canelo is content throwing one control, then one power shot, even though his opponent shows themselves being into a position that is exploitable from those attacks, right? He doesn't usually follow up. He doesn't do anything with that momentum. He doesn't continue his sequences. He's one punch at a time. Canelo, one control, one punch. Now, this is just a random sequence of Golovkin having some success with that very, very same technique. Boom, catching Canelo, leaving that position with the left hook. But I think Charlo is much faster than Golovkin. He's much better at that, throwing counters. Golovkin's not really a back foot hooking fighter. He doesn't usually bring his weight to the back foot to throw his hooks or throw them defensively. He's an offensive fighter. Blah, 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 blah. No excuses. Play like a champion, Golovkin, you goddamn scrub. Now, hook, right hand. Been waiting for it all fight. Now, pretty decent follow-up right there from Golovkin, right? Again, Canelo can throw those shots, boom, boom, right hand, counter, 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 right? Canelo, one power punch per sequence. He's not really a kind of keep crossing your line kind of guy. He's a small guy fighting like a big guy. He's a small guy getting in the ring, fighting like a bully, thinking that he's just going to knock these guys out, and that's what he tried to do against Bivol, and he had to box Bivol. He had to fight that guy, but that guy was too big. He was too big to knock him out like that. And I think that Charlo is going to be too big for Canelo most of the fight. Charlo did some really interesting stuff in the fight with Castaño. I don't think he did a lot of holding in that fight. He did a lot of slipping and ducking and rolling, and I don't say ducking like ducking below the waist, but a lot of really athletic stuff. Like that one scene where he was like penduluming away, and then he came to the line with the right hand and got under the right hand from Castaño, and then he came back, rolling back, and then anyway, he threw a bunch of punches and kept falling. It was sick. And rather than hold, he'll do stuff like that and use his energy. But he also fights off of those rhythms, right? Where he's running around and boom, bounce here, and then explode into a punch, down, up. And he has that rhythm. He has that, that like Roy Jones-esque like motion. He just doesn't have a system for fighting to understand not only how to train it better, right? Because he should be better at it than he is. But he doesn't know what he's doing to have success. Because if you watch him on the mitts and you watch him training and you watch him, he doesn't exactly fight like that. I mean, he fought way better. His mitt work was better this time. But I actually think that, the improvement that he had, Jermell Charlo, from the first Castaño fight to the second Castaño fight was just so damn good. Like, if he's actually been training and he hasn't been fucking off like a dipshit, he should be a sick fighter by now. Maybe he'll even have figured out what to do with how to angle his feet in a way that he can get them on one side of his target, right? Or each side of his target, right? So that he can actually throw some power punches. Because he's a big, strong guy. He should be landing harder shots, right? Like a little guy like Castaño, he's landing clean shots, right? Anyway, man, I don't think that Canelo is done. But is this not a good fight for him? All of a sudden, is this not a good fight for him? Like, I wonder if Charlo is going to be taking the right hands from Canelo. Because we know Canelo's going to land them, right? Castaño landed them. Now, Castaño throws more punches, I think. I could be wrong about that, but I think he throws more punches than Canelo. He's more active. He puts on more pressure. Um, Canelo's pressure is more deliberate. He knows more exactly about what he's trying to do from each moment to each moment than Castano, than Charlo as well. But Charlo's he's a pretty damn good athlete. He's got that down up motion stuff where he's going down up and flying and using that rhythm and that weight, right? Again, similar to like Errol Spence, right? Errol Spence does it like a little bit. I think Charlo does it better than him. Jamel does. I think Jamel does it better than he does. But neither one of them, they both fight with that karate style with their feet in a line, right? They both fight exactly like that. So they'll never figure out how to throw. They'll never figure out how to do anything with their hands because their feet are not correct. But anyway, yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure who to pick. If Jamel doesn't throw a lot of punches, right? Like if he thinks he's losing because he got hit with a hard shot, and he's like, okay, so now I just got to land a hard shot too. He's gonna lose the fight. He's gonna lose. He's gonna expect to lose by KO or win by knockout at some point if he fights like that, and he won't realize that he's slowly losing a boring decision where Canelo jumps on the line with the 1-1-2, and he's waiting for the perfect shot. But if he waits for Canelo to throw a 1-1-2 and he just goes apeshit and throws a bunch of punches, pop, 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 floods the line, he's gonna score. He's gonna score because Canelo will stand there like this after throwing a sequence, boom, boom, and he's not ready because Canelo is very deliberate with everything that he does from moment to moment, right? When he wants to take a break, right? Hey, Charlo, when Canelo wants to take a break, he's gonna do this stupid walk-off shit where he moves and he takes a look over here, he stretches his neck, he shakes his head no at somebody. He does some boss thing that's like something that you would do, like, oh, you know what it's gonna be if you go do negotiations with him, and he does something like in the negotiations, like in the room, like to get everyone's, and he does that in the fight. I don't know if he, like you whistle, right, and then everyone takes a look, huh? Anyway, Canelo does all kinds of stupid shit in his fights to take breaks. Don't let him take fucking breaks in the fight. Don't let him try to be too cool for you. Putting out his bolo hands, taking a funny look this way. Maybe he'll do something stupid like the Ali Shuffle this time, right? In honor of Manny Pacquiao. I think it's one of Canelo's favorite fighters. I know it's the Ali Shuffle, Manny Pacquiao thing, but anyway, Jamel needs to figure out that balance between circling and moving and dragging Canelo to him and letting Canelo open up and countering him, and also taking advantage of when Canelo's tired. He needs to figure out where that balance is going to be, where it's going to be effective for him to explode on Canelo, i.e., when Canelo throws a sequence at you, and he tries to rest after. He goes, and now he's going to rest for a second, try to get replanted, try to walk around. Say he hits you on the ropes for the blue corner, he's going to wait for you to go to the white corner now before he explodes on you. And then he's going to wait for you to go to the red, and then to the white, and then to the blue, and he's going to do one sequence every time you move around, chase you just a little bit, right? And you got to make him pay when he's resting. You got to make him pay. You got to keep him working so he tires, so that you're allowed to throw punches at him because he's a better puncher than you. He's a better puncher than you, and he has a better chin than you think he does. Not that he can't be knocked out, not that he can't be beaten, right? But there were times in that fight where I think Canelo was really in danger against Bivol. Really in danger. And Uh, and Bivol wouldn't capitalize. He was so afraid to take any punch from Canelo. Um, not that he almost let the fight go, but did you see how close the scorecards were? I know there's corruption. I know. I saw Gennady Golovkin mysteriously get a draw with Canelo in the first fight. Somehow lose the second fight. Nah, whatever. To be honest, Golovkin, I know you probably didn't plan this because you're probably thinking like, well, everyone still knows I won the first fight. Everyone still knows I won the second fight. I'm much less excited to say that I thought you won the second fight by some small margin because you lost the third in such stunning fashion. That's your right. Even though Mayweather came out and said, well, I beat Canelo and he made easy work of Golovkin. People were talking about Golovkin this, Golovkin that. Hey, bro, you don't get a pass because you beat Canelo when he was a baby to say that you would have beaten Golovkin. Golovkin would have beat the snot out of you, Mayweather. Come on. He would have knocked you out. But, um, anyway, Golovkin, no, Canelo. I'm not sure who I'm picking. Yet. We're still doing film study on Patreon. If you guys want more complete film studies, check it out on Patreon. Or if you guys want coaching, but I highly recommend you checking out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. That's what I want to teach you. So if you've already picked it up, check it out. Check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. It'll teach you all the things that you're not doing that separate people from people. What they say, like somebody special, like Naoya Inoue, Artur Beterbiev. Right? They say those special punching power, this, that. Number one, all those guys do, they're 2-foot punchers. That's it. They can punch with both feet. That's all. And most of the time they do it, they don't get knocked out. Right? There's an art to it, right? There's a sweet science to doing something that feels so dangerous and making it look so effortless and generating so much power. Right? That's the first trick. That's trick number one. Naoya Inoue has done trick number one. Artur Beterbiev has done trick number one. Most people got no tricks. Right? Most people got none. Anyway, if you want to learn all the tricks, check out Fouts Boxing Combat System. I'll teach you what to do with your hands, your legs. I'll teach you what to do with your shoulders. I'll teach you what to do with your head, your hands. And I'll never, ever even say the word hip one time. Because people who say you got to do this with your hips, they don't know shit about punching. Not a goddamn thing.